we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show. Yeah, me show the moon. Wale your light on. Every say what shuku. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. On Vicky O Show. Every Saturday. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vicky O Show. You're welcome to the Nigeria We Want. Tonight we have another get together with our panelists, and we will be talking about what's been happening in Nigeria. But before we do that, we would like to show our appreciation to the sponsors of today's show. Provision GSH Plus is the first business that we will be saying a very big thank you to. Because of them, we've been able to bring this show to you wherever you are. And before we play Provision's infomercial, could you please type into the comment section where you're watching us from? We would like to know. We won't take you for granted, not at all. So check out Provision GSH Plus. They are all about your well-being, physical and mental well-being. And this dietary supplement is all about that. It's to give you energy, clarity, mental clarity, and everything that you need to help you have a great day. So just check them out. How is your energy? Do you struggle with having restful sleep? How is your immune system? Do you struggle with stress, concentration, and mental fatigue? GSH Plus is your answer. It's the answer that you need, because the ingredients contained in GSH Plus formula may support your immune system, optimize your strength and energy, and it can empower your daily living. Provision GSH Plus can be ordered through the link we've provided. Here we have, that's GSH Plus, Provision GSH Plus. It can only be ordered directly from the factory in Texas in United States. Well formulated, all to help you with your immune system. And also it works in the cellular level. So it works with your cells, the cells that help you to carry blood from one part of your body to another. That's this is to fuel that, to give it more power so that it can keep doing what it's supposed to do. So if you're on this, I can assure you, you get more clarity, mental clarity, and physically you get sound health. So check them out. So you can only order through directly at their website. Just send us an email, vickyoshow@gmail.com. vickyoshow@gmail.com. And our second sponsor for today's show is Capstone Medical Center, Bensdale. They are a group of medical doctors coming together and doing great things for the people within the community by providing affordable health care to members of the community. Check them out. 51527135. That's the number for Capstone Medical Center. Give them a call and they will be able to help you with anything to do with your physical health. Now, join me to welcome Wally Olaiton to the Vicky O Show, the Nigeria we want today. Welcome, Wally.
Thank you very much, Vicky. It's good to be
Yeah,
back on the
it's
show.
always good to be back. I mean, you guys were giving me a little bit of where are they? Where are they? Then when I saw your message that where is the link, I was like, didn't I send the link earlier on? Sorry about that. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
not bad. It's been a rewarding Saturday.
Yeah.
So earlier today, I was at the Metro West uh, Nigerian Society of Victoria kind
Okay.
of
Yep.
get together.
Mm.
So I'm aware there was one at uh,
Yeah.
East Metro,
Yeah,
East
I
Metro as
couldn't
well.
attend. I was in
Yes,
Bensdale. Arrived
yes.
back. So yeah. So I couldn't attend. Yeah, it's good to be back here. And today is all about catching up with what's been happening in Nigeria, our country of birth, and the place that there's always something to talk about over there. So yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of extended what is trending, and also um, uh, I think we're doing a little bit more than that today with Chidima's quotes regarding
Yeah, the danger of a single story.
yeah, single story.
Story. Yeah.
So I'm excited about talking about that. My daughter and I, my eldest daughter, Chidima is a fan. She read all her books, and I think it was Chidima that actually got her to delve more into her roots to the extent that she's more natural, natural hair, natural everything to do with Africa. She's more into it. She's so, and I think she read a lot from Chidima, and through that, she started asking heaps of questions. You
Questions.
remember when I was talking to
It's
you,
about the
Biafra,
Biafra era war and all the
about Biafra,
stories.
about Fela? So she's been asking lots of questions after reading Chidima's books, and she started reading those books, I think, from age 8.
Wow.
She'll read big books like this. Whenever we're
Yes.
traveling, you see her reading, always reading, and it's always Chidima's book. And it makes me think, um, when young people see people like them. And I remember saying this a week ago during one of the programs that I was running. I said, what got me started in what I'm doing was the day that I turned on the TV and I saw Oprah Winfrey, a black woman, curly hair, beautiful, very vocal. And I thought, wow, I can do that. I want to do that one day. I would like to be like that woman because she was just out there, she commanding presence, taking charge of her space, and I just love that. I mean, when we see more and more like us on the stage in a place of authority, there's that drive within us to want to follow through because seeing someone that look like you, it's an encouragement. Even there's something within
Absolutely.
you saying, "Oh, no, you can't." You know that if somebody else had done it, you can also. So that's why I'm quite excited about today's topic.
Absolutely. And there's this thing around without Martin Luther King's dream. He had a dream.
Exactly.
If there was no dream, we wouldn't have had an Obama as a president.
Exactly.
About 40 years
Years
later.
after. Yes.
You know, so it's all about one generation, planting the trees and another
Mhm.
generation enjoying the
Yep.
shade. So
Mm,
most of the things that we do now, especially in Australia, if you
mm,
compare Africans in that history in the United Kingdom, for example, And the US, there are places where they see an African or a person of African background in all walks of life. That there's no surprise in medicine, in industry, in big
Yep.
areas, in government,
Mm.
because of that long history of having Africans in that part of the world. The same thing by by extension, the United States and probably Canada, but in
Mm.
Australia we still have to prove ourselves in a lot of ways because
Exactly.
they are not really used to having
Mm.
people from African
Mm.
background in a positions of authority or in
Mm.
government, in business. So it's like you stay, from my experience, and I've worked in government for almost since 2007, different roles in the government. It's like from time to time you still have to prove yourself. Is that from time to time you still look around like people, even though you've got all the experience and qualifications to be there, you wouldn't be there by accident, but you
Mm.
still like expected to prove why you then
Overperform
it,
than your
yeah,
mates.
you why
Mm.
you are there in the first place. And I think it's
Mm.
because historically, we're still a very a young community in this part of the world. And
Mm.
also we don't have many kind of role models
Exactly.
in this society, and that's why it's good
Mm.
for kids and our children to have people like Chimamanda to look forward to,
Mm.
um, and so many other people in other parts of the world that are from African background or Nigerian, that they can relate to, and as you said,
Exactly. Yeah.
um, have that kind of inspiration from them. That's and I'm sure whatever we're doing now, we don't know when and who we are. That this would
Inspiring
inspire.
on the other side.
Yeah,
We
on the
don't
other
know.
side.
We don't
Um,
know. Because the day that I turned the TV on and I saw that woman, even though I, raised in Nigeria, there are many other Africans, like me and everything. But, knowing fully well that we look up to I mean, we watch American movies. We know that with America, the blacks are not allowed to shine and stuff like that. But now to not see that kind of woman on a stage and so vocal, so out there, it was quite a big inspiration for me. And it had always been that drive that I had, that if she can do it, I can also do it. And I remember the day that I was invited to United States to become to be one of the celebrity judges, and with the lights and all that in Chicago, that just made me feel like yes, I'm closer. That just gave me that feeling of yes. Remember, Vicky, like when you were like 8 years old and you saw Oprah Winfrey on the stage on your screen. Here, you're so close to it. You're so close to that dream. And even there are times with what I've been doing that I feel exhausted, and especially early this year, I felt so exhausted and tired, and all that. But I'm like, no, I'm not giving up on that dream. I have that dream and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, you know. So it's amazing, that and with what we are doing, we're doing it is filling our it's given us something, like just having that conversations, that normally in the past, you'd be banging your head and thinking why things, but now when you have other people, like-minded people coming together and having these weekly conversations, it's helping us. Number one, number two, only God knows one little girl, one little boy out there watching with dad and looking at, what are they talking about? Yeah, I like him. I want to be like Wale Olaito. I want to be able to talk like him. I want to be able to present like him. You never know. You never know. What we are doing today, how that can help somebody out there.
Absolutely, and it's not only for kids, even some of adults as well, because people have skills and they have talents in so many areas, but there's always that self doubt,
Mm,
that people, that self-doubt, I think, is a big problem for many people.
Exactly.
And when they see people that look like them, giving it a go, giving it the best shot, um, regardless of whatever criticism that could come out of what we do from time to
Mm,
time. But at least we're making an effort to come
exactly.
here,
Mm,
honestly share our views on topics, and
mm,
and to some degree make ourselves vulnerable, because when you're
mhm.
doing a live show, there's a degree of vulnerability that comes with it.
Vulnerability.
That comes with it.
Exactly.
You'll say
Mm,
something, so I'll say something. Sometimes I go back and look at the reward, the replay. Did I say about? And I've said in some things that maybe it doesn't really come out the way I expected it to come out. But
mm,
that is the beauty of the live show, that you
mm,
just there, you say the way it is, and the way
exactly.
and there's a degree of that vulnerability. And if you want to be seen, or you want to preserve a kind of image, an image
Mm,
of a perfectionist, or an image of someone that is so you know um, vast in so many areas, you tend
mm,
to hold back because you don't want to put yourself there. There's not like you do this
exactly.
and then you are editing it. It is live.
Mm, mm,
And I'm sure across all the panelists, we've all had our vulnerable moments on this
of
program,
course.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But we grow through that, and I think
Mm,
without a doubt, and if you're doing that for 12 months, I'm sure we've all grown in in so many areas, in
mm,
confidence in what we do and everything. And I think we can always get better. And I'm confident that we are inspiring our people from other parts
exactly.
of Africa. Like, look,
Mm,
no one is going to create this platform for us. Let's just face
exactly.
it.
And that
Eh,
is why today's topic is so important. You
yeah,
know, um, there is this idea or this thing that Caucasians do have about us. And when they are telling the story, they tell the story from their own perspective. But
yeah,
when
that's
we
correct.
come out and start telling these stories and start, you know, shining light on some people, like that guy that we brought onto the show, Suleiman,
Yep,
like the young girl that is making pads and gifting the pads to young girls that can't afford to
yep,
buy pads, like the lady who is in a politician, local government
yeah, yeah.
leader or
Okay,
something, and she's using the money that she was supposed to keep for herself to better the community. We are we can only tell our own story the way we want it to be told. I mean, there are times we watch TV and you just assume, like if we're watching something relating to Americas, you see, if there's my husband do watch crime shows, all
so,
these
okay,
detective shows and stuff like that. If they bring white onto the screen and this white has committed a crime much bigger than what a black man had committed, we have this assumption that, oh, you know what, this white guy will only get a slap on the hand. Meanwhile, this black guy will be given like 50 years imprisonment. That's the belief. I mean, and that is what tends to happen. So when we tell our own story, we're telling it from a place of knowing this is who we are. We grew up in that place. We know the place. We know the culture. It's different from people that will just be saying it based on the assumptions that they already have. And I was speaking to someone the other day who told me about when she went to see um, a Caucasian therapist. A Caucasian, this is an African person, went to see a Caucasian therapist, and she made a comment about her husband and stuff. And the next thing, this person started planting those words of, oh, you've got to divorce him because this is what's gonna happen. And she was like, that's no, no, I mean, the cultural thing comes in, but I think we'll just delve into this a bit more as we go along. Let's welcome Egbon Yemi, our dear brother, to the show tonight. Welcome, Egbon.
Thank you very much. Apologies for coming late again. Saturdays are crazy. Saturdays are crazy, but it's okay. Wale,
Thank you for
nice to be
making
Hey
with
it.
boy,
you.
yeah, good to see you again, but welcome to
Mm.
the show.
Thank you so
So
much.
yeah, so today it's more about extended what's trending, and then we are going to delve a bit more into the danger of Wale,
A single story,
a
a
single
danger of
story.
the story.
Yeah,
Uh, so
the cheating man's.
that was a TED
Mm,
talk by Chimamanda Adichie in 2009, when she spoke eloquently about the danger of a single story. In that talk show, she used her experience of growing up in Nigeria and then moving to United States, and and the kind of stereotypes she encountered in that process of people asking her, some ridiculous questions around, things that probably you've taken for granted, people have taken for
exactly.
granted. Probably do you
Mm.
even have you been in a car before? Do you have television in your house? So
Do you have a house?
do you even have
Are
a
you
house?
not
So
living on
probably
the tree?
it's free. So we're trying to explore more, but in that bigger context of Nigeria as a society, and even many of us, despite our good intentions, how we can easily get caught in that web of if we are not conscious, it's very easy in an environment where you hardly get anything positive to say. You can get caught in that web of almost repeating most of these stereotypes about Nigeria and most negative things about Nigeria. And particularly, many of our people in diaspora have seen it, have witnessed it. We can easily get caught in that web of you hardly have anything good
To
to say
say.
about
Mm,
Nigeria. And for some people, it's psychological. Um, Living overseas is not bed of roses. Some people do it tough. They can look back two decades outside Nigeria, nothing really tangible to show for it. So it's psychologically, it fits their narrative to continue to get something really bad about Nigeria. That's in a way justify their reason of leaving the place, and probably a bit of additional justification for not going back. You know,
mm.
so there are different layers, but I think it's something we can explore, on the show, this evening. So, what is trending? let's start from let's start from Dr. Vicky. What is trending
Um,
for you?
for me, this week I've not been able to actually follow any story at all because I was in the countryside. Um, the only thing that I came across was just about um, how the quick thinking of the man, the ritual killing in Ife, the wife, how the quick, how she, you know, the following up with her husband to be sure he's okay, he's landed, and all that kind of stuff. But when knowing her partner, knowing her husband, the kind of person that he was, she was able to realize quickly that something wasn't okay. Um, that was the story that broke my heart. Just watching that woman wailing, it was so heartbroken. Um, Watching her and listening to her story and listening to his mother. Oh my gosh, that was so sad. Um, and I was telling my daughter this morning, my eldest daughter, yes, she's 21, and she believed that, of course, she's old enough, she's a graduate, and blah blah blah. She was out yesterday, and we were worried that we were trying to call her to see when can we pick her up at the train station, and she wasn't picking up. So she eventually tried to call her brother. So when I got up this morning, I gave her a strong wordings, don't you ever do that. I gave her I actually told her the story of this man, of the importance of you letting people know where you are at every particular time of the day. It's for your own protection. Who are you with? That is how you, if that man didn't do that, and there are many in Nigeria that they believe that, yeah, I don't want my wife monitoring me. I don't want people to know where I am. I don't know. I don't want this. I don't want that. If you had been that kind of a man, it would have been dead, long gone, and nobody would have known where I mean, we will all be blaming Fulanis today that they've kidnapped him. So it is very important. It's not because people want to monitor you. It's just for your own safety. If anything happen, we can quickly get there and help you. We can, do whatever we have to do to minimize threat to you. So that story was one. The second story was about this man whose daughter was killed. I'm not sure, one of the neighboring countries to Nigeria. The girl went there for work and she had been the one helping the family. Now, things were stolen. She went to the police station to report, and then the story was turned. She was now, because the head of the police at that town, the thief was actually related to the man, and the police was asking her to withdraw uh the accusation that he was going to pay her some money, and she said, no, I just want my things back. That was how they now blame her for kidnapping of a young kid. They jailed her for it. Now, she was in jail when she was killed. The man, the father was crying like a baby, I can't remember ever seeing a man crying like that. It was BBC Yoruba that interviewed him. And he was begging Nigerian government to help him out, that his daughter shouldn't just die like that. Um, I mean, people, Nigerians are getting killed within and out of Nigeria. What are we going to do?
Thank you. I think I missed that. Probably I saw the edits, maybe the incident happened in Sierra Leone. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure,
one of those
but
countries. I'm not certain which one.
yeah, okay. If Egbon, if it's a news that Egbon is aware of, I'm happy for Egbon to shed more light on that news. Um, Otherwise, Egbon, you've got the floor, to share with us what is trending for you at the moment.
I read that story. Um, it's a very sad one.
Mm.
It's a very sad one. I'm trying to remember the particular country now. It's a West African country. But maybe before the end of this show, I will forget it.
Not Ivory Coast. I can't remember. I know it's.
I should think so. I think it is. I think it is.
Mm.
And it's heart rendering. It's heart rendering. And actually, the person that screamed about this was I guess a guy that felt touched. Unfortunately, I think when the lady was jailed, help didn't come in good time.
Mm.
Help didn't come in good time, which brings to question the our response time to the cries and the pleas of Nigerians out there. It's I think if we had acted promptly, the lady wouldn't have. Probably the lady would have been saved.
Mm.
But as usual, or maybe don't let me rush into conclusion. We didn't respond promptly. We didn't respond promptly, and so we lost her. Justice, if it will come at all, is coming a bit too late
Mm.
because the dependents are grieved. The dependents are the ones that feel the brunt of it all. Maybe it will send a signal to us that we need to get a body that is up and doing. When Nigerians cry out for help somewhere, we need to go get it. Let's at least show our presence. Let's at least show that we care. Let's show that we care. It's a case of an innocent lady paying with her life for asking for justice. Yes, it's a case of an innocent lady paying with her life. And I feel sorry. I feel guilty that I'm within a society that could not help the lady in good time. Unfortunately, I didn't hear about the cries when she was still alive. I didn't hear about it. I didn't stumble on it. The thing only made headlines when she died. It's very sad. On Ife, it's the story is probably part of what we are discussing today. These are stories that scare people off. These are stories that represent the country badly, that paints the country in very bad colors. These are stories that you wonder if they could happen in this century. But it happened. It happened. It's a story that will not go off easily. But we have the tendency to forget things fast. We have the tendency to let things just go off and then we move on. So there is this conscious attempt by some of us to keep this story on the front burner, because that guy should not die in vain.
In vain.
Now,
Yes.
wait a minute. If we're talking about, if it turns out to be, and it is looking very much like it, ritual killing, you keep wondering what we are doing with such in this century, at this time and age, when other societies are striving to almost conquer nature, are striving to make things life easier for themselves, are striving to maximize science. Now we are propitiating some gods with blood, human blood. Now I do not feel very proud that this is happening within my own society. I feel very, very embarrassed. I feel dehumanized that this is happening within our society. But come to think of it, one would want to give kudos to the police so far.
Exactly.
So far. And we are watching closely that there is no miscarriage of justice.
Of justice, yeah.
We are watching very, very closely. There are stories here and there. We do not want to believe those stories yet. But justice must be done, and it must be seen to be done or to have been done. That is the case with Timothy, that's his name, at Ife. And we are watching. Only God knows the unreported stories. Only God knows the stories that are buried with the dead in some other places. But that this has come out, and it has actually attracted the attention of the high and mighty. It has attracted the attention of some bodies, even professional bodies. So we are watching closely. We are watching closely.
Did Donny or Fife even say anything about that? That happened in his town. Did he make any comments about it?
I think it did. I read something yesterday concerning directly from Money that's the accused owner of that hotel um, as far as I recall from what I read yesterday, um, is tied to he has been suspended. You
Okay.
know, as as a prominent chief, Ileife.
Mm.
So yeah, so they only reacted to that. There's still presumption of innocence, but he acted, and his action I felt was decisive in terms of at
He's,
least that is what
he's
is
actually
expected.
the guy is actually the mayor of Ife,
Mm.
and presumed innocence, yes, but there's a stigma. There's a stigma which I think the palace is has worked
Trying to
against,
stay away
and I
from
think
it.
it's a very good step. It's a appropriate step, even if it will be restored after innocence is declared. It should the suspension is very is very right. And
Absolutely. Mhm.
well, I'm not a judge, but it's really messy. It's really messy.
I read it somewhere that the son of the accused is they're trying to push the crime onto the son. That was the son that did it, not the man.
Well,
I read it somewhere.
guilty by association, but it is still early in the day to say what exactly the situation is. It's still early in
Mm.
the day. However, there are some other issues that came up. Uh, I mean, for somebody to set up a university and say a polytechnic, you should have some grounding academically that
Exactly.
that you could refer to. And
Mm.
it's been discovered that one, the the doctorate degree that the guy paraded uh, came from a university that did not exist. I
Wow.
think the master's degree that was also paraded came from a university that is yet to be set up. And
Yet to be
now I
said.
think, I mean, this is pure fraud.
Totally.
And I think I don't know, some people will still be brought into this issue because for him to have passed through the lens of the National University Commission or whoever, whichever body is approving the right to set up an institution of learning of that
Mm.
status, due diligence obviously wasn't done because the internet is there at the very least. You can find out if an institution exists or not with the push of a button. Worst scenario, there are contacts to be made to confirm this. How they escape their eagle eye, I don't know, and somebody really should answer for it. So
So
if that level um of fraud existed, I will not put anything beyond the accused.
Yeah, so it's very very
good.
interesting revelations,
Mm.
and
Mm.
like the tag you did, watching us from Abeokuta is my brother. He just confirmed that actually only suspended the eye chief, and also we thank our regular member here, Tolu Felicity, who is joining us from Lagos. So on similar topic around justice. The Alaji Lai Mohammed, he has been in the news for all the wrong reasons in the last 6 to 7 days. He discredited the NSAS report, and he says there are a few things that he said that are very very strong words. Um, he was saying that even if a goat that if, for example, that if you keep a goat and the goat is missing, that the owner of the goat, what is expected is for the owner of the goat to come out and say, look, I'm missing my goat. Do you, by any chance, have you found my missing goat? In a way, he was making an analogy that no one has come out, that even the so-called people that died at, the Lekki tollgate, that no parents, that no one has actually come out to say, okay, his or her son or daughter, was killed, is missing. And he continued to say this 12 months after the incident, and just about 2 weeks after a panel of experts came out with that report. And it's just appalling, the level of things and coming out from, Mr. Lai Mohammed in the past 7 days. And I don't know exactly what the issues are. I don't know, the level of desperation for them just to prevent Nigerians from actually knowing the truth about this.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted us to discuss the the topic that I put across earlier.
Okay, the unconscious bias.
Yeah. Even though we all can see the truth, the more this man screams all his lies and he keep repeating it. It's like watching TV and watching McLean toothpaste advertisement. Maybe there are better toothpaste out there, but because you keep watching the same, you watch a little bit and then they bring on the advert, and then in the next 2 minutes the advert again, and the next 2 minutes again you listen to the advert. Before you know it, you go into the shop. What do you see? You want to buy toothpaste. No matter how many other toothpaste there is out there, the one that you pick, I can guarantee you 90% of the time will be McLean. Why? Because that's what's been, it's like they've kind of reprogrammed your brain to always seek out, to look for McLean. When it comes to buying toothpaste, it's the same thing with people in high places saying the same thing, reiterating it, whether it's the truth or what we are facing right now. What will it be called? And that started from the beginning. It has gotten like 100% worse since our orange man got there. You go back to it. Yes, it was there before, but this man actually formalized it. And that's why I wanted us to actually go deeper into it. And the man that I wanted to bring on to the show is a psychologist who I've spoken to about this before, to come and actually open that discussion and pieces it for us. Uncle Laila, who said Uncle Laila has been labeled, somebody typed it, I'm not sure who did. Uncle Laila has been labeled a bully.
Let me,
yes,
if I can. I actually didn't want to waste my energy on this particular one because Lai Mohammed said it. Yeah, I didn't want to. The analogy you gave, unfortunately, is on the contrary in this case. Why? It has gotten to a point where anything uttered by the personality mentioned is unbelievable. Nigerians have come to that point that when, in actual fact, when he says, my name is so, they have stopped believing. It is that bad. And it is one of the wonders of this world that that man is still on that seat.
But
Just wait.
Okay.
Just hold on. That man is still on that seat. So it is true that when you repeatedly spin out gibberish or whatever, people consider it too. I said it on this program before. A lie ceases to be a lie when it is agreed by all parties concerned that the truth should not be spoken. But in this case, all parties have agreed that what is uttered or to be uttered is a lie. If it probably comes from somebody else, maybe. In actual fact, the same thing coming from somebody else will be more believable. It is that bad. You get my drift. It is that bad. And that is why the image of government is not really doing very well. Messages of government has to be passed through some other channels for it to be believable. And I have no apologies for that, because I know I'm speaking the mind of so many people, millions of people. It is that bad. It is that bad.
Thanks so much, Egban. Looking at the time now, we have to go straight to the danger of a single story. In that, thought tech, renowned writer Chimamanda famously said, "The single story creates stereotypes, and the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story." So I'll go to Vicky, and then we're trying to open up in terms of stereotypes, the danger of stereotypes about Nigeria. Internationally, global news, a lot of stereotypes about Nigeria from, everyone is like, a scammer, like 419 or drug dealing or whatever. How can we change the narrative? What other things can we promote, about Nigeria? We all accept that there are stereotypes and there are a lot of things out there. But how can we, in a way, also be able to tell the story of over 200 million people beyond, some of the actions of people of less than 1% of the whole population? So I will start with Vicky, and then I will come back to Ego.
I believe individually it's left to us to show, not just say it, because nobody would believe it. But when we show in what we do, in how we do things, it's left to whomever watching and listening to decide that, but how come I heard that story, but look at this person in front of me doing this, saying this, and showing me that, yeah, though the person is from that same place, but look at this person, look at what he's doing. And I'll give you an example. Someone went to see my husband, and in the consultation room, he started talking about what he had heard about Nigerians and how they fraudulent they've been. This guy was actually in Port Harcourt, on the oil rigs and stuff like that, and it was just going on and on. And my husband said to him, he said, that observation, yeah, maybe that's true in some cases, but I can say the same thing about you guys. That maybe looking at you now, maybe you are a serial killer. Okay. He gave my husband the first, kick, and he gave it back. And this guy, oh, he thought about it, and he said, it's true. But here you are. I came in, and when at the door, I saw your name, and I'm like, that's a Nigerian name. And I saw another name, that must be your wife. that even here in this place, these guys are still making a mark. You know, that, I mean, without much talk, this guy was able to reason it out himself. So I believe it's left to us individually to do our part to represent the land of our birth in a good way. Um, in the sense that wherever we are, whatever we do, we need to be thinking about what will happen in 20, 30 years time when when my grandchild, is in a place like this. Would she be given the opportunity based on what I've done? So it's left to us individually. That's number one. Then number two, platforms like this is a place, yes, we talk about what's happening, but at the same time, it's a place where we can where we can share our own stories instead of leaving it to the other parties to share our stories for us.
Yeah, you know, yes, thanks for those valid points, because in most cases, if we allow the other parties to tell the stories for whatever reason, even the mainstream media, the Western mainstream media, hardly do they really look deep into developmental or positive news, in other parts of the world. You see them. I can bet you the day the Lagos building collapsed, within an hour, it was already breaking news here.
Exactly.
It
Here.
was the
Yeah.
breaking news here.
No, no, we don't get the news normally here about
No,
Nigeria.
yeah, you don't. But
But that,
like cases like that, it
mm,
within an hour it was breaking. It was on the national news here, and that and that is that's just the trend. And in most cases, the negative news they spread fast more than anything. So
mm,
I still want to go back to what Chimamanda said. Stereotypes, as you said, is that it's not that they are untrue, but they are incomplete. So there are things that people say. For example, they say, some of your people are scammers. It's a statement of fact that some of our people are actually
yeah,
scammers.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but it's just an incomplete kind of story that's
And
in
it's
a
the
way.
same thing. You can say some of the Caucasians are child rapists, that they are, you know, they do crazy stuff, right? Because some of them do.
Yeah,
But that is not the truth when we are talking about every one of them.
yeah. It's not a complete story.
Exactly. It's not a
You know,
complete story.
it's not a complete story. So, Egbon, what do you have to say on this stereotypes and that danger of a single story, especially as it relates to Nigeria?
The honest truth is bad news sells faster. Bad news is good business for those who peddle news. So that is that. But most times, our good deeds, our achievements do not get to the front page. Some good things, I say it over and over again on this show. Yes, we have issues. Yes, we have our problems. Yes, we have things that we are not proud of, but there are good things happening here. And it is left for us to project such and keep appealing to the conscience of those who perpetrate the evil deeds to change their minds, change their acts, change their attitude towards life. Most times, it's all about money. Money. When you hear something horrible being done, trace it up, trace it down the line, and you find money. behind it. However, something, it may be a small thing, but something happened and that gladdened my heart. And that's just a couple of days back. For so long, our police have been in the bad light of the public. For so long, our police, yes, some of them have done horrible things. Some police people, some policemen do not deserve that uniform. And you find this impacting on several aspects of our life. People visiting, they get scared. People here going out, they get scared. Your child is going out with his or her friends, parents get apprehensive that the police might do this, might do that. But it is still this same police. A patrol team found a wallet. A wallet fell off the passenger of an Okada. Let me get the picture right. The passenger of an Okada, a wallet fell off him. And a police patrol team saw it and took that wallet. And then they tried stopping the Okada rider, who, in his mind, needed to escape from the police because he felt he would be apprehended for whatever the reason was. Most times, they do not have any cogent reason for stopping or arresting an Okada man or whatever. However, in the process of the police stopping him, he kept speeding off.
Oh.
He kept speeding off. Meanwhile, the passenger he carried didn't know his wallet fell off. Inside that wallet was about 150,000 or something like that, naira. But this team still went ahead and drove after the Okada up to the point where that Okada man dropped his passenger and sped off. So they handed over that wallet with the money intact to the man that lost it. It's the kind of story I want to hear about my own police. It's a kind of story that will make you feel, okay, let's relax with these guys. But it doesn't make the headline. That is the Nigeria I want. That is the Nigeria I want. Maybe one incident like that, so many other negative ones, but we need to scream this to the high heavens. That is what we are talking about. That is another variation to the message out there about us. Right? Outside that, you see Nigerians making medical feats out there. These are the same guys that are, I mean, they do not, probably because of the environment, because of facilities, they do not perform to their maximum ability. Yesterday on my show, on my radio program, I brought up the issue of Osimhen, the Nigerian footballer. Right? And it was a very simple thing that I did. This guy played a match, had an injury on the head, the face or whatever. It was a major issue. This is an issue that could keep him out of active football for months. Now, they had a surgery a major surgery, where screws, something 18 screws or whatever number of screws, and some patches, blah blah blah, were done. Now, my point is, he was discharged from the hospital about a day or two after. Yes, to continue his process of recuperation back home. The average idea that we have here is, wow, such an injury, surgery, you're talking about hospitalization for months. Then I keep asking the question, what is it that they are doing out there? Maybe Dr. Vicky and her husband will be able to provide an answer to that. What is it that they are doing out there that we do not do here? Right? Here, the average patient opens a supermarket in the hospital where Bonvitas and milk and sugar and all that are brought for him, right? And because they know that he's not going to be out of there so quickly. I've had a brother that had an operation in UK, and he was out of the hospital within 24 hours. So what I'm saying in essence is, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. There are things to copy from out there that will make us a better people, that will make the society a better people. But in terms of narration, Dr. Vicky has said it, we need to make up our mind. In our small community, including me that I am talking now, I need to decide, what do I want to do right? What are the things that are going wrong that I want to correct? Listen, I attended a resident association meeting this morning, and the issue of fixing our roads came up, and we spoke a lot of grammar, blah 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 blah. It was capital intensive, and a resident got up at the end of all the long grammar and said, wait a minute, you want to fix this road for 3.9 million naira, right? Fine, I will do it for you. That is one man. He said, listen, we could acquire, I'm not saying I have more than enough, we could acquire so much, but in a split second, when you are gone, it is the end. I'm quoting him. It is the end. That is the end of the story. You do not come back to take part of what you have kept in the bank to spend over there. He volunteered to do it and started making arrangements to transfer money to the association. That is going to affect the lives of hundreds of others. That is it. So we need to decide what we want to do. We need to decide how we want to do it. Davido is an example. He put all that money together, donations from people and all that, and added his own 50 million and decided to donate it to homes. I don't know. I mean, there are examples, and all of a sudden, foreign press started addressing him as Nigerian American.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
That is the narration we are talking about.
They claim ownership immediately.
That is the narration we are talking about. So we need to put our stories out there. But when the world out there knows that message is coming from Elijah Muhammad, that's a problem. Let's go.
Thank you very much. I got two important points there. You spoke about the narration or the need for us to control the narratives in terms of what we put out there coming from us. And beyond that, you said we also need to decide on what to do and the kind of Nigerian we want to be wherever we are. You give an example of your community association where people probably a lot of grammar and everything there, and someone just said, "Look, enough of all this grammar. Let's get this fixed.
A fact.
I put in the money." So you sometimes you're gonna put the money where your mouth is, and I'm sure that within that your community, the man has sent a very strong message. Hopefully, when next you having similar community association meeting, if there's a problem that needs to be fixed, you will be surprised. Another loaded guy, another cash loaded woman that will say, "Look, I'm happy to support and do what we have to do." So because of time, I think I'll still just leave it out there. Maybe for if words around the purpose of promoting this doomy and gloomy story about Nigeria. I know that and I think sometimes diaspora Nigerians in diaspora, some of us are guilty of this. And people have accused us that hardly do we even find anything good uh, to 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 say about Nigeria. And so I'm putting it out there that is true, and probably there's a need for us as well to try and look at some positive sides of at the country we left behind.
But Wale,
Yep.
yes, we do. Sorry to budge in. Yes, we do share. We do talk about the negative stuff. The question is, where do we get those stories from? From those within,
And they are true. And as we
and
said earlier,
they are true.
and they are true.
Exactly.
They are not just fabrications. They are true. But what we're saying is that it's a balancing act. What we're saying that it's a balancing act is in the sense that even with the most developed, so-called first world,
They
which
have their own
we all are opportune to have traveled. You see, homeless person in their bags in winter, really, really freezing cold, on the street in New York. You see them in major streets in Europe. You see them here. You see them here in Melbourne. Yeah, I used to walk past some, in the city in winter, across major big malls right there in Box Street. You see them in their bags in winter. That is not the image they show to the world. That is not the image of Australia. You see Channel 7 or Channel
Okay.
9 promoting to the world. They go to somewhere beautiful area. So I think we also need to do that, knowing that there's a lot of mental game, if I may put it that way, going on in terms of who controls the narrative and what narrative is out there, and the impact of how they see us as a people. If all they see about where I come from is this kids in running around, and World Vision is raising $1 to feed them a day, and you see, which these are great international NGOs supporting kids, but it has effect of putting some ideas on the minds of probably people that should be your contemporary in the office, or people that could be your, in some cases, competitor in the office, or in other areas, about where you came from and how people live. And even when you tend to get involved and even share your honest opinions about something, it's not uncommon for people to remind you where you actually came
Where you
from.
come from. And
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, just quickly, Wale and Egmo. Um, we used to have, we had a practice, a medical center in the most, how would you describe Turak, Wale?
It's a very posh area
A
of
posh, the
of
most,
a
most
posh area
expensive
of Melbourne.
suburb, uh,
Yeah.
and rich people, expensive places. That's where they live. So we had a clinic there, and somebody walked in one day and said, I want to see the owners of this place. I was told that they were blacks. How come a black person own a clinic in a place like this? How come? I mean, that person was so
Strong.
vocal, was so I just
Strong.
didn't I can't even fathom the idea behind our getting up from our house and coming to the clinic to ask for the owner. How come? How did you guys get here? Who are you? From Africa? You know, I mean, you know that for that kind of a person, that person already had it in her mind that Africans are meant to be pushing trolleys, you know, gathering people's trolleys and putting them back. But to own a medical practice, not in the back room somewhere, in the poshest of the poshest in Melbourne, it's too high. It was just like, now I have to come and see myself. And the receptionist just told her that yes, black people own this place, but they are fantastic. They are so good. You want us to book you in? No, no, no. I don't want to see any black, but I just want to see them. I walked out into the reception and she was like, I was told that you guys own this place. I said, so how can I help you? And she was being, you know, she was just like looking like this is so unbelievable, you know. So the idea or the story she has had and stuff like that made her to believe that nothing good comes from African people.
And that's why we have to take that stand and based on our own, I guess, political consciousness, I guess the problems are there and we accept those problems. They are everyday realities of our people. But in this world that we live is about image, and the West has done a lot in controlling their own image. About you know, we've lived here, we've traveled, we know things. You have joked with people that they want to go and do some volunteering in Africa. I said, don't go too far. Go to the Aboriginal communities in the
Exactly.
Northern Territory. The people live there in some very worst conditions that even
Mm.
than
Nah.
what you found in any part of Africa. So this, it's a bit of just trying to push the narrative back to some degree, and in our way, like there are things that we discuss among ourselves when we have that kind of dialogue. But I also think that we need to control that narrative, especially when it has to do with um, that kind of global audience and being
Mm.
able to stay the problems are there, but being able to promote the good side that even if they see on the news, they won't pay attention to it. They won't even go back on Google to even search that
Double check.
something to check. They won't, it's not even their priority, but they will remember the most negative stuff. So that is why my political consciousness comes in on that sense. And I know there are things when we are together, we can yab ourselves and say a lot of stuff. But when I'm dealing with someone that is not in Nigeria, I control the narrative to some degree, and I did that on purpose based on my political consciousness. So that is what that's where I just got to say now. I'll go to Egbon, and then we can try and close, the show for tonight.
It's when we had the traditional media, it probably would have been easier to control. When we had just the traditional media, it would have been easier to control. But I'm not sure the consciousness of this was not even in their agenda. Now that we have journalists without borders, via social media, it becomes a gargantuan problem. First to break the news is the race, and then sharing without thinking, sharing items without analysis, without thinking, will this be true and all that, fuels this. And so it makes the issue of correcting it makes the issue of directing the narratives controlling the narratives more difficult. One can only appeal here. It's you find out that a lot of things that people do, that people post, that people post out there, you do not know where it will get to. You cannot limit it. And the internet never forgets. People forget that. So in the process of portraying, yes, you want to say the truth, fine. But some people even go to the extent of digging for the negative aspect of the truth to put it out there, all in the name of getting followership or being popular or result of joblessness. That could add to it. So you find out that it is a very serious issue, and the more we address this, the better it is, especially for our young ones. Our young ones need to think deeply. What society do I want to live in the next 10 years? What society do I want to hand over to my younger ones? We have our issues. Yes, they have theirs too. It rips my heart whenever I hear of a Nigerian swindling others, especially foreigners and all that. It rips my heart. It's because I know the implication of this. Because for every act by a single particular individual, it affects thousands of others. They take a second look at others carrying the same passport. They take a second look. So some people are actually gone beyond being appealed to. We can only help in raising a greater number of the positive ones so that we can overwhelm these negative characters that are messing our image up. We need a second narrative. That is true. We need to control it. That is very true. But we need to make conscious efforts at doing that.
Oh, thank you very much, Egbon, for that powerful, final submission.
I'm sorry. I didn't, as a final submission, I must also make an appeal to our people out there, outside the shores of this country. And it's in form of a song by Kofo Wonder.
Okay.
Because at every point in time that you misbehave there, at every point in time that you defraud somebody, at every point in time that you lawfully break or you willingly break the law there, you are making things harder for others, not just Nigerians living there, but Nigerians that intend to come over there to transact business, for leisure, for permanent stay, anything. And the song is very simple. It says,
Exactly.
Thank you very, very much. So we appeal to our people. So we do our best and be good ambassadors. So thank you very much on that final submission. And I will hand over to Dr. Vicky to wrap up the show for tonight. Thank you all.
Thanks, Wale. And I believe Egbon has done a very great round for us with that song. Ká má bà àjò jẹ́ ó ṣe pàtàkì, very, very, very important, which is the reason why I said it before, that whatever you do, you need to think about in 30 years' time, is what I'm doing right now, how will it impact my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren? Because if I'm not doing the right thing, it will impact on the lives of the unborn. When they hear, they'll be like, oh, remember what that person did. So it is very, very important. I was sharing something with one of my kids the other day about the fact that when you go to Perth in Western Australia, 70% of their medical doctors are Nigerians. They are Nigerians. They were all trained in Nigeria. Most of them, we lived in South Africa together around the same time. Now they are in Perth, hanging on and helping them with their medical setup over there. Um, they are making great impact. And yes, we have others around the world that are doing whatever to spoil the name of that country. But we all need to keep reminding ourselves that whatever we do today can impact so many other people alive or yet to come. And it can be negative, it can be positive. Our role is me thinking what I'm doing right now, I want to do everything possible to make sure that when the time comes, when my children needed help, when my children need to be here or to do whatever I'm doing is not going to impact them in a negative way. At the place of work, in the community, in the country, it is very, very important. So thank you, Egboyemi, for joining us. And Wale, thank you so much for putting this together. To all our viewers, I'm not sure how many people are watching on Facebook right now, but for those that we have watching us through the channel E360 TV, we appreciate you, every one of you. We won't take you for granted. Until next Saturday, when we come together with another fantastic topic, you all take care. May God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's LC the beat guy.